People who know their God will be strong and take action. Of course, we could be strong if we know the Most High God as presented in the book of Daniel. That's from Daniel 11:32. Daniel himself was strong and took actions that he otherwise wouldn't do, just like you and I can, if we know our God, the sovereign God who knows the end from the beginning, whose will is being done and will be done. We can have such confidence and such peace and such joy, even in the midst of wild times, even like times of Daniel and his friends and times that are prophesied in the book of Daniel, things like Antiochus IV, when the Maccabees lived. That's what that verse is about. They were strong in the midst of it because they knew their God, the Most High God. We see these prophecies that God can look forward from the 500s BC. Of course, he's outside of time. He knows the end from the beginning. But from our perspective, he's looking forward from the 500s. During the Babylonian Empire, he sees the rise of the Medes and Persians. He sees Jerusalem rebuilt. He sees the Greek Empire rising with Alexander the Great, the first king, rising to power and then dying at the peak of his conquering. He sees Antiochus IV coming and desecrating the temple. He sees, oh, well, let me just stop. The 6 Syrian wars there, scoffers, they say, well, Daniel 11 is so accurate, it had to have been written afterwards. Thank you for that great compliment, because you're saying it had to be written in the 160s BC, but the prophecies of Daniel go past then, like to the rise of Rome, like to Messiah coming into Jerusalem. 173,880 days after the word to rebuild Jerusalem, Jesus comes riding into Jerusalem on a donkey like prophesied by Zechariah. But then he's cut off, like Daniel 9 says. And then the temple's destroyed, like Daniel 9 says as well. And so what certainty we have that God is God, that he's the Most High God. He knows the end from the beginning. He rules, and he's going to entrust the everlasting kingdom, the real kingdom, to the one who suited the rule for him, the Son of Man, Daniel chapter 7. Messiah the Prince, Daniel chapter 9, the Lord Jesus. And so may we have great confidence, and may we respond to be strong and take actions like are seen in Daniel, where he had a mind to obey God, even if nobody else would. His friends who would not bow, would stand with the Lord, would have confidence in the true God, even when no one else would. Persist in prayer, to be devoted to prayer, because we want to stay in touch with headquarters, the real headquarters, where the Lord is. That we'd be steadfast and faithful, like the faithful of Israel were during the time of Antiochus IV, when he so opposed them and persecuted them. Daniel chapter 8, Daniel chapter 11. And like the faithful of Israel will in a future time when the little horn of Rome, Daniel chapter 7, rises to power and persecutes them. May we be those that have God's interest in mind, like we see in Daniel, pleading for his name's sake to work, Daniel 9, Daniel 10. That's what's really going on after all, is what God's doing. And so I want to be part of what's really going on. May we heed the call to not conform to this passing world. It might seem really glorious sometimes, like that statue of Daniel 2. But it's really not so impressive. Plus, it's passing. It's only here for a time. And then the next kingdom is going to come. But there's one kingdom that's everlasting, and that's the kingdom of the Most High God. I want to align with that and not be conformed with this passing world. Instead, I want to have confidence in the living God, even amidst all the pressure, to align with him and to nurture communion with him. Not be conformed. I want to have confidence in him, and I want to nurture communion with him, such that the reality of the sovereignty of the Most High God has a truly transformative effect in my life today.